Delta Force, a franchise that has been around for a long time and is now being revived by Team Jade, as I'm sure most of you already know. The PC Alpha just launched yesterday, and who would have thought that the potential next Battlefield game would be Delta Force Hawk Ops? I got in for about 3-4 hours last night, and I wanted to share my first impressions of the game, keeping in mind that it is an alpha. I won't be too nitpicky about bugs and various performance metrics. First and foremost, Delta Force Hawk Ops, which I will now refer to as DFHO, is going to release as a free-to-play game, campaign excluded, and feature 2 distinct multiplayer modes. Hazard Operations is more akin to Escape from Tarkov, Arena Breakout Infinite, or hell, even Hazard Zone if you remember that gem from Battlefield 2042. And the other game mode is Havoc Warfare, which Battlefield players will feel right at home in. I exclusively played Havoc Warfare last night, with the current game mode on offer being a push the objective type game mode where one team is defending and the other attacking, trying to capture the point before moving on to the next one. When you load into DFHO Havoc Warfare, you are greeted by a screen that seems very familiar and makes it quite obvious who their main competitor is. Battlefield. Oh, sorry about that. In this game mode, you can enjoy 2 different maps. Cracked, which is an urban desert map, and Ascension, which starts off by a beach offensive, which culminates in an epic climb up to a facility on top of a cliff. Very reminiscent of a certain Damavan Peak, which I loved. Before loading into a match, you can customize your loadouts and operators. Now, I'm not a fan of operators in a Battlefield-like game, but whatever, they aren't nearly as obnoxious as they were when Battlefield 2042 launched, and considering DFHO is a free-to-play game, I would imagine a lot of their revenue is going to come from skins, which are easier to sell if you have operators, as opposed to classes. The weapon modding is pretty deep, and I suppose could be argued as too complex. You can change a lot of the weapon parts, and calibrate certain parts such as the stock, pistol grip, barrel, sight, and more, which is just crazy, especially for a free-to-play game. I can't wait to see how many people are just going to completely ruin weapons by trying to overmod it or calibrate certain parts of it and just end up with a weapon that performs a hell of a lot worse than just the base weapon, but I digress. You get access to 4 out of the 6 operators right off the bat, with 2 being locked behind event completion. I have yet to unlock these. Depending on which operator you choose, you get access to different weapon types among rifles, SMGs, shotguns, LMGs, marksman rifles, and sniper rifles, and each of these operators have specific gadgets that you can choose from. DFHO also features vehicle warfare ranging from tanks, LAVs, assault vehicles to helicopters, which I haven't tried yet. But enough about all that. What is the gameplay actually like? Is it fun? Listen, if you're a Battlefield fan, especially older titles, I think you'll feel right at home in this game. I squatted up with the old man and my best friend, and we had a blast last night playing as a squad. We were all playing different operators, and it felt like the good old days. Me reviving their dead asses because they kept getting killed. No, I'm kidding. Gunplay feels satisfying, and weapons have kick/punch. Granted, I haven't tried all the weapons or weapon types yet. So far, my favorite is the AKS-74. Movement felt pretty solid for an alpha test, not much to say here. All the things you would expect from a modern FPS multiplayer game is here. Vaulting, sliding, leaning that you can actually control instead of auto-leaning, which I hate, so that's great. When you play, you can also call in support like airstrikes or smoke bombs and things like that. And being completely transparent, I only noticed this late into our play session that these were even a thing because I was just having so much fun actually shooting weapons. Ascension is my favorite out of the 2 maps for sure, offering a ton of verticality and flanking opportunities. Cracked is alright, but felt a little bit one-sided, defense being the team at advantage here, so there is for sure some room for improvement on that map. But again, we only are testing out 2 maps out of who knows how many we'll have at launch, and in only a singular game mode. I think Cracked would probably be more enjoyable with a Conquest-like game mode, which I'm sure there will be something akin to at launch. One small gripe I have with the game is communication between teammates, and hell, even players on the other team. I think having an all chat between both teams just adds to the overall gameplay experience, and I hope they add it in. I was also having difficulties getting teammates' attention for spotted enemies or asking for a revive, but again, alpha stages, so I won't criticize too much. There might be things that have already been ironed out or improved in their internal builds. There could also be more HUD/UI customization options, as it felt a little difficult to keep track of your squad mates, but again, subjective opinion on this. I would just like to see more options in terms of how you want to see your teammates, so what color you want their icons to be. Same thing for squad mates. Performance was actually surprisingly good for an alpha. I was getting a solid 200 FPS and more with an RTX 3080 and Ryzen 7 5800X3D, so I'm more than happy with those numbers. There was some hitching when it came to servers, but I think that is just a commonality for early tests like these, so I wasn't thinking too much about it. Usually, I would just leave the server and join a new one and go about my merry way. Overall, I think Delta Force has a lot to offer its players, especially for the free-to-play offering. I'm sure there will be much more to experience when the game progresses and gets closer to its full release, but so far I'm quite impressed with what has been accomplished thus far by Team Jade. If you're looking for something to play with your friends in the near future, I would definitely suggest wishlisting Delta Force Hawk Ops. I think it caters very well to Battlefield players and FPS fans alike. It provides a somewhat sandboxy multiplayer shooter experience. My only fear is that they might go down the less than honorable pay-to-win route with this free-to-play title, but I suppose that only time will tell. In any case, keep your eyes peeled on the channel for more DFHL videos in the near future. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.